Hey everybody, this is Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we bet on some of the sports, but not really the sports bets in those sports. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers, joined as always by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Like the Commanders, I too haven't been good since 1991.
Oh, I think that'd be something we could really get into our intros into every single time. And just like this thing, that's what I am with that thing. And much like the Commanders, three of my friends are wondering why I'm still here.
And just like the Titans, I too disappoint everyone from my hometown.
If this is your guys' first time listening, what happens is each week Austin and I lay out 6 bets for a guest. These are not your typical bets. These are not things you're going to find in Vegas. These are measurable bets that take into account sort of the world, pop culture, all these things, ridiculous bets. We give them $1,000 in fake cash. They allocate that across these fake bets to win money for fake charity.
And Kyle and I have been doing this for 3 seasons now, and we've gotten a plethora of amazing guests, including last week's and Trey Wingo, which we'll talk about in just a second. But it's also, Kyle and I have been doing this for so long now, to the point where like we are oddly good lines makers at this.
If you let us look through your phone for an hour, we'll give you over under the amount of texts your family will send you that week.
Yes, it is odd. It is odd. Like if we were building actual casinos and sports books based off of the money that we have made on this podcast and the lines that we have set, it would be bigger than Reno, at least.
There is this incredible thing where a bet will be close to hitting and something will happen that shifts it from one to another, and people will be like, oh, it must be rigged because that shit. No, they're good at this. It's close. That's why it's close. Like the Chiefs doing that intentional safety, which was the right move to do strategically at the end of the game, which took it from 11 to 9 points. And some people are like, if you had 9.5, because they're good at this.
Yeah.
There's literally a whole fake city in a desert built because they're good. It blows my mind when people are like, I can't believe I lost at roulette again. I can. They invented a game called You'll Lose most of the time.
Right. And we do our research on how many times Skip Bayless tweets in a week. And
we are good at this.
That's why our lines are so good.
Last week, so you said Trey Wingo was on here for the divisional round, which is the best week of football of the year, I think.
It really is.
Especially when they cap the divisional round off with the national championship in college football.
Yeah.
I like this. I like that because then it's like you watch a divisional round and they put the national championship on to let the fans of the worst teams see their players next year.
Yeah. I really liked it because I was scouting for that number one.
You were like, this receiver can't come out yet. Can we get the number one pick in 2 years? That guy from Ohio State looks insane.
Right.
He's like a 17-year-old that looks like stronger Des Bryant.
At this point, I'd be okay if the Titans drafted the Notre Dame Leprechaun number 1 overall.
At least he's consistent. We had Trey Wingo on for the divisional round. We placed some bets. We had this was a bet that we had: who wins by more, people or animals. We had we got to go over the results.
Yeah.
I actually forgot to tally up our totals, but that's okay. Austin, last week, Trey Wingo lost $900.
Ooh, that's, we've had a string of negative scores.
Yeah, we do. His biggest bet, which was a hilarious loss, was he bet $850 that an Eagles fan would go viral for something bad. And there was a big lockdown on that. I didn't learn a single. I even asked the Eagles fan, I'm like, was there any dumbass shit? And they were like, honestly, no.
The closest we got was the Eagles mare, and that was even after the week's game had passed. So
Trey lost most of his money there. The rest of it was kind of hit or miss. Austin, I lost $200 last week.
Oh, yes. Let's go. The door's cracked open.
And you gained $500 last week.
Let's go.
Which would mean I am now at 11,190.
Okay.
And you're at 6612.
Oh my gosh, do not let me get hot. 6612.
So that's our yearly total. I'm at $11,190 for the year. Austin's at $6,612. Trey Wingo lost $900, which for how bad people have been doing this year puts him in the upper middle of the pack.
Yeah, it's wild. Like
I got a lot of red on the books.
We could build a bigger Reno if this was real money that we were pushing on this podcast.
Some of our bigger bets last week, a big one was if an Eagles fan goes viral that Trey locked in, or Trey said was $850. He lost on that because he said yes. I also lost. You gained $150 on that. Another big bet was who wins more, people or animals, mascot wise, and the people took it. So I won $200 here. because we had the Chiefs, we had the Commanders over the
Hmm.
Eagles was the big flip here. So that was a big win for me. And then we had what I thought was the most interesting bet of the week actually ended in a push, which was all my X's versus Texas. Austin put up a bet of will who will have more touchdowns, Hopkins, Derrick Henry, and AJ Brown combined, or the
Hmm.
Texans as a team, and it was 1-1.
And you know what's wild? There's two things about that bet that are just shocking to me
Yeah,
as the lines maker of said bet. The fact that one, the Texans only scored one singular touchdown because
and it
the
was the
way that
first
game was like,
game.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And the way that game was being played, you would have thought that, like because the Chiefs are, I mean, the Texans were kind of moving the ball up and down the
Yeah,
field, but they kept stalling out and settling for field goals. I would have thought they would have at least gotten one other touchdown at some point in the game, even in garbage time, like late in the
right.
game.
Something.
But nothing to no avail. And I was not expecting much from DeAndre Hopkins, as he
But he
hasn't
is,
done
but
a
they have targeted him in the red zone.
yeah, sure. And he was not the main guy. I was expecting a little bit more from AJ Brown, especially after last week, reading the book on the sideline. I would have thought,
Yeah,
oh, okay, they're really going to try and get him involved more.
done for him.
But the one that really shocked me, even more than the Texans only putting up one touchdown, was Derrick Henry only putting up one touchdown because that is a
Especially
guy.
for the amount of first and goals they had.
Right, right. Like, and that was, that one of Lamar's fumbles came on that goal line. Like, it's like it
Just hand it off
really,
to him. It,
it
it blew my mind.
don't overthink it. And that's what the Titans used to do with Derrick Henry all the time. It's like they tried to get too cute. And it's like, no, just
This is
hand them.
when I
He's got a
remember Derek.
freight
Yeah,
train. You hand him the football and let
Derrick
him
Henry had
go on
that
the
one
tracks.
dropped pass on their first drive, and I was just like, why are they even throwing it to him 14 yards down the field?
Yeah. Yeah. They're
What's
like,
happening
you're
here?
like, we need to knock over this wall. Should we use the rhinoceros that we've got, or should we try
Well,
and
let's
get
run
cute?
around the wall and blow it over.
Yeah. 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 It's like, don't overthink
That's
it.
maybe what you didn't fact because this is an incredible line. More touchdowns this one whole team or these three guys who used to play for your team, and it's a push. So a lot of our money was tied up between the three of us. We had $650 tied up in that bet, and it was a push. What is wild? It is just it's just such a specific. What you didn't factor in enough was that the Ravens uh, get cute too much in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Derrick
No,
Henry
you're
could
right.
have 7,000 yards, and in the
Hmm.
playoffs, they'd be like, we should use him as a decoy.
Lamar Jackson, if he wins the MVP this year, he'll have as many MVPs as he has playoff wins. Like
Yeah.
it's just the
Which
Ravens
is
have
which will
something
then
about
tie him
them.
with me in that statistic.
The I the Ravens, they always like to do something. And as a Titans fan, it's like I am used to seeing my exes just light it up for other teams.
Sure.
And the one week that they don't is the one week that I put actual fake money on it,
Yeah.
which was very frustrating.
Cold, hard, fake cash.
Yes, yeah.
It was, I mean, that
And
was a great line. A lot of our bets were really close. The Derrick Henry versus Lightning McQueen, 94 and a half rushing yards. He hit 84. So he hit that under in that weird zone that he normally doesn't do. He's normally 50 or 100.
yeah,
A lot of really close. People versus Animals was one win away. Uh, a lot of really close ones on this week, but ultimately
yeah,
you got $700 closer.
it was a fun week. The Yeah, Trey Wingo was great, but this week we've got another great guy who I know you've been made well aware of if you watch any morning television in terms of the NFL, because there's two really really great shows: Good Morning Football and Up and Adams with Kay Adams. This is the man who has kind of been there for the inception of both of those shows. The producer and senior producer of now Up and Adams, producer for Good Morning Football, Matt Hamilton, who you've probably seen his segment Hammer Time on Good Morning Football, or you've seen him just, be like the co-host essentially of Up and Adams with Kay Adams. Great dude, known him for many, many years, and
hmm
we're gonna have some fun with him. Is there anything else we need to get to before we get to him?
No, I mean, I think we covered all the hot topics between air ejaculating to the Rizzler. We covered all
It's
this
true.
week.
We do cover a lot of ground in this interview. Before we get to him, though, Kyle, how do you spell Eagles?
I don't even. There's no way. It's the Philadelphia public education system because you can tell because no one received an A.
Elgses, I believe is
Yeah,
how the mayor of Philadelphia
yeah.
spelled it, which should be your first test when running for mayor is, hey, how do you do the chant that
It
we do it
is. It
on
is their
Sundays?
first test, and that's just the no one knew.
And it's like, who's the best uh, boxer from this city? Not, and you real or hypothetical, and you got to go with the hypothetical answer, the made up Hollywood version of Rocky,
Oh,
right?
R O
Because
K
isn't
Y.
was Joe Frazier? Joe Frazier was also from
Yeah, yeah,
Philadelphia.
but it's
He's
Philly.
not going to get a statue. Yeah, come on, dude. Yeah, yeah. Let's be honest. All right, let's get to Matt Hamilton. Our guest this week is a world junior champion, world men's bronze medalist, and Olympic gold medalist in curling. He is Matt Hamilton. No, wait. No, wait. Sorry. No, never mind. This is the Matt Hamilton that I go way back with, all the way back to summer welcome at the University of Missouri in the summer of 2005. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we also lived on the same dorm in Hudson.
Yeah. Yep.
And yep, okay, good. We crossed paths briefly also on the Mizzou football team when I was getting my shit kicked in every single day as a walk on, and he was a grad assistant helping lead the team to a number one record and eventual Cotton Bowl championship. You may remember him from his time as a producer and his Hammer Time segment on Good Morning Football back in the day. But now he serves as a senior producer and on air talent for FanDuel TV with Up and Adams with Kay Adams. He is Matt Hamilton. Matt, how are you, man?
Wow, that is the best intro I've ever gotten. So I'm feeling great. And I can't tell you, I do get tweets intended for the curler all the time.
Sure.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and
yes.
it is, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to respond. I feel like I should just respond as him at some point and
Yes.
just go with
Yeah.
it. But yeah,
Yeah, there's like a statute of limitations. Like now you are him. If they're going to continue to make that mistake, that's on them. So you just play the role.
I
yeah.
mean this in the most generic way. Is there not a Matt Hamilton who drives NASCAR, or is that just if all NASCAR driver names were put together into
That was if
one?
you just put them in a blender. Yeah, they're
And this
all
is coming from a Kyle. This is coming from, you know what I mean, where the
It's
only
a very good
famous
point.
Kyles
Yeah,
are NASCAR drivers.
true.
Yeah, if you weren't telling jokes, you'd be driving laps for sure.
Yeah, I would be using my turn signal.
Guys, follow Matt on Twitter and Instagram, and hit him up about curling. Matt Hamilton 25 on Instagram and Twitter. Matt, dude, been freaking loving what you guys have done with Up and Adams. Like it was very, I think things were up in question when I was super bummed when Kay left Good Morning Football and you in turn left Good Morning Football. I was like, man, because it was, it's one of my favorite shows. And I was like, man, two of the, my favorite parts about that show are leaving. What's going to happen next? But Up and Adams has been awesome, dude. It has been such a fun show to watch and wake up with. And just the rapport you have, like, the Gronk segments and everything. What has been your favorite part about working with Kay in the mornings?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, and it's been really fun, and it was fun to kind of take on the challenge again of building something from scratch, like we did with Good Morning Football back in 2016, and it's a different energy starting something new like that again, and I think my favorite part was the training camp tour that we went on this past year. We went
Yeah.
to I think it was 21 training camps in 24 days, and it was awesome to just we had this crazy idea, and FanDuel was just like, okay, go for it, whatever you guys need, like we'll help set it up and facilitate. And we expected it to be like maybe 8 to 10 teams, and it just kept growing and growing and building while we were on the road. And it was just such a cool experience to get to see these teams, kind of get that inside look at all these teams, get to talk to all these players. The teams are awesome with us too. Like we were
Yeah.
getting,
Yeah.
we got to talk to Josh Allen, we get to talk to Jordan Love. Like they were giving us those marquee players, which again, we didn't know going in. We found out a lot of those like the day before who we
Oh,
were
that's sick.
getting. There were even times we didn't know where we were going the next day. I remember we're in Miami and we were supposed to go to San Francisco the next day, but the Niners canceled. They had all those injuries going on, so they like ended up canceling their practice because they had so many injuries. So like, okay, we don't know where we're going next. We're in the middle of interviewing Tyreek Hill and then text, okay, we're going to Indianapolis tomorrow. Book your flights. And,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. Not
but it
well,
was such
not
a
not. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was it was just such a cool experience. I've never gotten to do anything like that before, and it was insane. It took probably a couple years off my life, but it's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
something I'll
yeah.
never forget. Yeah.
Well, not to be the nagging in-law that is asking when you're going to have baby number two when you're still in the hospital room with baby number one, but are you guys going to try and run it back this year? And do you try and add more teams to the list?
I I think we are. I think we definitely want to check out a few teams that we didn't get to. Your Titans, I feel like have to be one of them.
Yeah, they don't
Um,
have to. You're not missing much down there,
I
honestly.
mean, we got to go see the number one overall pick,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no, we've definitely talked about it, and I think it's something we want to do again. And knowing Kay, she's going to want to hit all 32 this time, and I'm
Yeah,
going
right, 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 right. She's gonna like want to.
lose the rest of my hair. Yeah.
Yeah, Kay's gonna want to like once you hit all 32 in a year, then next year she's gonna be like, all right, let's go and hit up all the NFL Europe teams from back in the day.
Yeah.
Let's throw in the UFL as
So
well.
Jack Del Rio is coaching in Paris. Let's go see him. Yeah.
All those made up teams in Oliver Stone's Any Given Sunday. Let's see if we can hit up those teams as well.
Miami
Well,
Sharks. Let's go. Yeah.
yeah,
It's always
yeah.
the Sharks. Every fictional sports thing ever is like the Sharks is the first one. We're gonna make
Yeah.
a team called the Sharks, the
And
Tiburon
Al
Sharks.
Pacino's always coaching them too.
Yeah.
It's all right. Well, Matt, listen, we want to, we're very giving and, very, very selfless on this podcast. In fact, we're probably the most selfless and the best at being humble of any podcast out there, which is why we take the fake winnings that we earn on this podcast and in turn donate them to fake causes. So is there a fake charity that you will be playing for this week?
Yeah, I'm playing for Save the Cats. I'm a big cat guy. We got a lot of cats in my apartment. I'm actually one of the benefits of doing the show from home. I get to do it in my slippers, and my wife got me slippers that look like both of our cats. So I got these on my feet right now. So yeah, we're saving the cats today.
Great.
Okay. Just all
Great.
cats everywhere. You're
All of
saving
them.
them all.
I wish
I
this
honestly,
charity was around before the post production on that musical movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
seriously.
That was Taylor Swift's worst movie
That
choice,
was
which is saying something. Um,
yeah.
I haven't looked at James Corden the same, honestly. Uh, every
You've
time,
still looked at James Corden
yeah,
just
that's all I
differently?
do. Every day I Google search James Corden and I just look at him and I'm just like, you know what? I can't look at Carpool Karaoke the same after what you did with that
Especially because he keeps showing
musical
his
turn
butt
film.
in carpool karaoke too.
People, yeah, people say COVID started from someone eating a bat and in Wuhan. No, COVID started when cats hit theaters in December of 2019. People don't talk about it enough. It was a global pandemic. All right, save the
It's
cats,
true. We
Matt.
thought they were just coughing up
Yep, we're
hairballs.
doing
Maybe
it.
I should have wore a mask.
All right,
I'm in Los
Matt.
Angeles. I should probably still do that anyways.
We're going to lay out six very fake bets from the NFL weekend, this upcoming weekend.
Mhm.
You don't have to bet. You're going to be given $1,000 of fake cash. You don't have to bet on all six. We do ask that you just bet on at least two, and one of them will be your lock, meaning you get double the winnings or triple the losses if you lose. So, Kyle will lay out three, then I'll lay out three, and then we'll get your wagers on them. So, Kyle, why don't you go ahead and take it away, man?
All right, let's do it. My first one is super simple. Chiefs Bills over under 1.5 flop attempts combined in this game. Over under 1.5 flop attempts. How will these be judged? I will have a impartial jury who it contain no Chiefs fans or Bills fans.
Ooh, okay.
judging the little flop contest here. Can there be a half flop? Yes, there can be a half flop. And so over under 1.5 flop attempts.
So this could be a
And
push. If
this
there's
is
Well,
one
the
full
problem is if
flop.
this is a
yeah.
push, I bet they flop and make it into the over. Uh, if this bet becomes a push going out of bounds, you might see both of these guys beg. And there's even a chance for a flop to count as 1.5 on its own if they're begging for a penalty flag during the fall, which I've seen Josh
Ooh.
Allen do the most incredible move of all time, which is asking for a flag while throwing the ball and getting hit all in one.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got
I,
over under
I,
1.5 flop attempts in this game. My next bet, I'm going to stick with Chiefs. Bills. I say stick with. There's two game. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stick with half of.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The other
Yeah,
storyline about
another Chiefs
yeah.
Bills bet. Jeez, Kyle, why don't you branch out a little
Um,
bit?
when you think about Buffalo and you think about Kansas City, you think about wings and you think about burnt ends. So to basically to smoke a brisket to eventually turn that into burn ends, you're going to want to have that smoker around 225 degrees. And to fry wings, you're going to want that oil at 350 degrees. Do both quarterbacks total yards in this game land between 225 and 350?
Ooh, combined.
No, 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 no. Total each. Sorry, each
Oh, okay.
respectively.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so, Allen can hit the over on that with his
That's a good
rushing
one.
pretty easily. Do both quarterbacks' yards respectively land in the heat zone, if you will? Because you don't want to go over 350. You're going to be
Yeah.
cooking that skin. Uh,
So is
so
it?
You don't
yeah,
want to
So
cook that
it.
skin.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no, not in that Kansas
It,
City temperature.
do we? And so are we betting? We're betting on
Okay.
whether or not they both do, or
Both,
just
yeah, both. Do
Both.
you
do
pick
they
both
both
or
Okay.
have to
neither?
fall
Or
in there?
both? It's yes or no. Do they both of their yard totals each land in the 225 to 350 total?
Okay.
And then I have a bet here from this one doesn't have a name. I None of my names felt good. For the Commanders Lions game, Commanders coach Dan Quinn, uh over under 0.5 times he does this on the sideline and it looks like he's like air jerking or milking a cow. And he does it a lot. I have a gif of it. He
That's
he really likes doing this thing. He'll be like, keep going, keep, and he like air milks a cow.
loves it.
So
He
over
loves
under,
it.
he loves it. I don't know what it is. I mean,
Anytime, anyone, anywhere.
I
That's
know.
his motto for this year, and that is also his motto for milking the
Milking.
cow. Yeah.
Yes, yes. As long as it's cow, uh, it's such an insane hand motion. I think that everything that's the Commanders are a hilarious, interesting, unique team full of weirdos, and
Mhm.
they have not been on the national stage long enough for everyone to get into this. I am obsessed with Jaden Daniels being the most Gen Z kid I've ever seen in my like nothing bothers him. He seems to just be reading stats about climate change all day. That's the energy he has on the sidelines. Is
Yeah.
just the most doom scrolled brain face. I've like just
Yeah.
nothing bothers him. Nothing bothers
He
this man at all.
he looks like he would actually be reading a book on the sidelines.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's the most calm. It doesn't matter what is happening. So I'm obsessed with all the weirdos on their team.
It's
It just
amazing. Yeah.
but maybe I think they're going to start being more of a national team soon, and we can get it. And Dan Quinn is insane, but he just hasn't been on national media enough for people to know he air jerks it all of the time.
I did write down, does Dan Quinn over under point 0.5 air jerking a cow? That's how I
Yeah,
wrote this
yeah,
bet down.
yeah.
That might. I still have to hear the rest, but that I'm leaning towards my lock being that one. I mean,
Oh man, there's raw talent and pasteurized milk going on with the Commanders. So those are my main three. I got the flop attempts, I got the yardage landing in the heat temp area. And don't come at me, people from Kansas City. I know then you want sometimes you want to. I don't want to. If you're really trying to make burn ends and not just making them off your, but you want to start at 205. You want to raise it up to 225. Then you're going to be wrapping it. Then you're going to be at low. But I'm saying, just we got to pick a number here. I'm not trying to get into a debate about making burn ends. 225, 350, and then over under point 0.5 air jerks. And I do have my this one continues from last week because no one got it. My media circus bet of the week for the Chiefs. You give me the number of times they cut to Taylor Swift during the game, If you land it exactly right, it's a double multiplier to your money for the week.
Ooh.
Okay. And
Last
that
week was
there's
5.
no losing of
No
money on
losing on
that,
this
right?
one, so you just get a freebie here.
Yeah.
Last week was
Okay.
5. Austin guessed 4. I guessed 6. It was a controversial way because there was a replay, but I didn't count the replay towards my
Oh yeah,
6.
that also important to note. The
Wow.
replays of previous shots of Taylor
Yeah.
do
It
not
has to
count.
be a completely new shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't get
Yeah, don't give us a Taylor's version.
Taylor editors edition or editor's
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
And if she
But
doesn't
it's good
show
to
up to the
know.
game, that there's nothing to lose on this one, so who cares?
Okay.
Okay. Um, okay, my bets. I'm gonna be like the substitute teacher, okay? I'm wheeling in the movie cart for this one. We're gonna watch a movie, if you guys don't mind. Uh oh, wait a minute. What is this? What I oh
This is the
Typical
substitute
substitute
teacher.
teacher fashion.
Can't
Yep.
figure
yeah.
out Laserdisc in 2004. Is this Laserdisc of Jurassic Park two-sided? Austin's Googling fun things to show during a podcast.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yes.
Okay, wait. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, there we go. Are we back? Are you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Just making sure because I just had to I don't know, I had to download something. Okay. So this is goes back to one of my favorite viral video clips. Probably around 10 years ago, a homeless woman was interviewed about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their most recent draft. And here is the said video.
Jaguars picks, they say they have the best draft in the entire NFL. Are you surprised to hear that?
Certainly not. The first year we took it to the limit. And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
It's been 20 years since then. We haven't been too strong in the last few years.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that lady. I wish I knew the whereabouts of that woman because I would divorce my wife and marry her in a heartbeat.
This is the first time
Uh,
in the history of this
I think-
podcast someone's been explicitly correct.
So I'm calling my first bet. Take it to the house, the beach house. Well, it's a couple minutes from the beach. This year's playoffs has been much of the same of that. You know, it's like, okay, it's Chiefs, Bills, Eagles, blah, blah, blah. We see them in championship weekend every year, it feels like. But there has been a newcomer trying to steal the show. Which have been the Commanders, and more specifically, Jaden Daniels. That clip that I just showed you guys is 28 seconds in length, and I love every single one of them. Does Jaden Daniels score on a touchdown of 28 yards or more? And that's rushing or passing on the singular play that they score a touchdown on. Is it over or under 28 yards or more? So 27 and a half is what we'll set the over under line at. However, there's a caveat to this bet. And the breaking news right before we came on this podcast was that the Jaguars have parted ways with Trent Baalke after assuring that he would be back next
Smart.
season.
I mean, I thought they were going to wait until there were no coaching candidates to hire.
Right? Well, apparently nobody wants to work in Jacksonville with Trent Baalke as the GM. So finally, Shad Khan
Shocking.
like,
Nobody could have seen that coming.
Yeah.
They needed to wait, a month.
the Jaguars were going to end up with
figure this
Jim
out.
Tom Sula as their head coach again. Another great Baalke hire. So the caveat here is if the Jaguars hire a head coach before the end of the games on Sunday, whatever you bet flips to the opposite. So, whatever you bet yes, it'll be a no. If you bet no, or no, it'll be a yes.
I'm thinking now, I'm like, is it possible for the Commanders to lose and Cliff Kingsbury get hired during the Bills-Chiefs game?
yeah, right. It's possible.
Like, just he's in the locker room.
The Bears were pretty close to that timing. So,
Yeah, they really, it seemed like we might have had some texts ahead of schedule there.
Yeah. Right.
Can the Jaguars hire her as the next GM? That's my other question here.
Kid Rock wasn't even able to wipe away any of his tears before Ben Johnson was in Chicago doing his
He was balling with the ball. I saw that.
Damn it, Kyle. Okay, so that's my first bet. Over under 28 yards or more with the caveat of if the Jaguars hire somewhere. My next bet is called the Slim Punter. Tress Way. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but he has one punt in the playoffs this season. That's zero point 0.5 punts per game. I had to do a lot of
That's
math
what
for that one.
PPG usually stands for.
Yeah. The notable Commanders fan and frequent tweet replier, Kevin Durant, has two games this weekend. Saturday at home versus the Wizards and Monday at home versus the Clippers. Kevin Durant's averaging around 27 points per game.
PPG, if you
So
will.
PPG, thank you. So I want to know which is more, Tressway's combined punt yards this weekend against the Eagles or Kevin Durant's points in those two games, Saturday and Monday.
That's a
So
good
Kevin
one.
Durant points versus Tress Way punt yards.
Okay.
Kevin
And
Durant, big friend of Up and Adams, by the way. We love
oh, okay,
KD.
all right,
Oh
okay.
yeah, he's that was a new addition this year, weekly guest for us, or it's semi whenever Kevin feels like it, I guess, kind of guest. But he is.
Right.
It's been fun talking these Commanders with him. He is such a fan about it. Like he doesn't want to get too hyped up. He wants them to be under the radar, all that. So
Yeah.
well,
What a
I
year to
love
get
this
him
one.
too. Yeah, what a year
Oh
for
yeah.
that guest booking to pay off because I mean it's been probably it has been the best Commanders year since 1991 and now they keep winning. People are asking actually in the streets, are the Commanders winning because Kevin Durant has been on Up and Adams every single week? I'm just telling you.
It's a valid question.
The
It's
people
K
who
Adams
are
bump.
asking are burner accounts of Kevin's.
Well, yeah. But the people are asking, so
Yeah.
you don't have to get into semantics about it. There is a caveat with this bet, though. Everything
Oh
does
boy,
flip
you and your
if
caveats. Here we
look.
go.
Everything does flip if Dan Quinn's hat does. Okay, if Dan Quinn puts his hat on frontwards during the game, then everything flips as well. So, but I will say this:
Man.
I don't, and that goes from kickoff until the final interview.
There's a real opportunity for an air jerk to bump a hat off and get kind of a doing lines parlay here.
If he goes double cow air jerking too fast and just knocks the hat
I guess
off
I don't know
and
how
just
he would
puts it
knock
on
his hat off
backwards.
from behind doing it, but
Yeah.
maybe he's a
If
flexible
he gets
man.
really into it, I don't know. Yeah.
Look, I think
That
if
clip,
we've learned one thing in
yeah.
these playoffs, it's do not doubt Dan Quinn.
Yeah. And that clip of Austin is going to be circulating the internet, I'm sure.
Right.
Just got to get
For our
10
YouTube
seconds
audience.
of,
AI, make a
YouTube
GIF of
audience can
Austin.
Take that. Yeah. Oh, gosh. I'm never going to be able to run for president. Now, my last bet is called Say It Ain't Joe, Montana. If Patrick Mahomes wins on Sunday, he passes Joe Montana for second all time in career playoff wins. He's currently tied with
Chiefs
him
greats.
with 16. Yes. So this bet is simple. Does Patrick Mahomes win to pass Joe Montana? But there is a caveat here. Joe Montana, the state of Montana joined the Union in 1889. So if you say yes and Patrick Mahomes fails to put up 188.9 yards on Sunday, passing yards, you lose the bet. If you say no, but he throws for over 188.9, then you lose the bet. So there's a way to lose the bet based on how you bet, whether you think he'll win or lose.
Some would say just being here, we've all lost. I've literally misplaced the bet. I have lost it.
You know what? Hey, you better watch it, or else I'm gonna go to San Francisco. I don't know. I got nothing. All right, let's go ahead and get Matt Hamilton's bets down.
Okay. Let's do it.
We'll recap.
So
we got flops.
we'll recap.
We got
flops.
We got temperature.
We'll start with the flops.
We got air jerks.
Yeah. So we'll start with the flops.
AJ Browns, I call him.
I'm going to put 100 on the over for the flops. I think
Okay.
Patrick, knowing him, he could even lean into it just to kind of make fun of, mock the people who are coming after him about it. I could see Josh doing it to kind of throw a little shade at Mahomes. So
I could see
I think
both of
we're
them doing
getting
it because the rules are insane.
and
Yeah,
that,
yeah, it's true.
So there are a lot of possibilities here. So I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna put 100 though. I'm not as confident in that one, but I like that. The temperature, I'm gonna go 400 on the temp. I think they both fall within that range. Um, I think I gotta go 350 on the air jerking, and I'm gonna make that my lock. I think Dan
Yes.
Quinn is a
Yes.
we're gonna see a lot of it from Dan Quinn.
I will say, Matt, that is the most anyone has ever bet on air jerking on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
I lost a little
I'm
more
glad I could be
once
a part
on
of history here.
I got a pop-up ad online once and lost a little more than that. But other than that, she was in my area.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
All right. Well, now I'm completely thrown off. What's the next
got,
one? Do you caveats, Austin?
This is looking. I just quit trying to even write Austin's down.
This is the over under 28 and a half yards, or excuse me, 27 and a half. So 28 yards or more rushing or passing for Jaden Daniels touchdown on Sunday.
And this is the one that flips if the Jaguars hire a coach.
Correct.
I'm going to go 50 on the over there.
Okay.
And I have 100 left to play with now, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I'm going to put the 100 on Mahomes passing Joe Montana. And I think he's gonna throw for some yards on this Bills pass
So if
defense.
if he wins the game and hits the over on the yardage, then that still remains a win, correct, Austin?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going for it.
Yeah, he's got to. So if he wins, he's got to throw for over 188.9. I think last week he threw for 177 or something. So
he would have thrown for more if his tight end could run over 9 miles an hour.
And he still had like 117 yards.
I was so close to
Oh,
betting,
yeah.
does Travis Kelce have a catch longer than the speed he hits?
That's, oh my gosh. Does Travis Kelce get tackled from behind?
Because both of those are 18 or so would be in. Last year, the playoffs, he ran 21 miles an hour. What happened in a year?
Oh my gosh.
He outran Fred Warner last February.
I'll tell you what happened in a year. The Eras Tour.
Yeah. His haircut's a lot less aerodynamic now.
Yeah, right. He's got that podcaster's bod now.
He was moving so slow. He looked like that boat stuck in the Panama Canal. Like it was just, I was like, is he gonna free this up? The guy who caught him was even like, I wasn't even chasing you, and then I realized I could catch you.
Yeah, if you look on the side of his jersey, it just says Evergreen right there down the side.
Oh man.
All right. And then lastly, Taylor Swift shots. What number?
Oh yeah, just any number.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go with 5.
5. Okay. That's a good bet because so Kyle, we played this at my in-laws' house this past weekend. We were all together. Mm-hmm. And my father-in-law, who avid listener of the podcast, made it a game amongst the whole family. Everyone picked. Everyone went like 8, 9 or above.
Last
and I'm
week,
like, you guys clearly
11.
have not watched enough Chiefs games.
No, this is a narrative-based loss for Trey Wingo last week, and I hate to say it, he's who creates the narrative. And he's like, he's actually the most sane of anyone. He'll be like, he's very sane about everything. He's not, but when he was like 11, I was like, what?
Yeah.
There's less shots of her than that in the Eras Tour movie. I have the cup.
I have the cup.
It is, yeah. No, anyone who watches a Chiefs game knows they do not cut to her, especially this year more than last year, where it's like it's not as much as everyone thinks.
But a lot of it's also based on a man who runs 11 miles an hour now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they going to cut
Is
to
the
her after
Rizzler-
he's asleep?
Yeah, they don't
is
have
the
time to cut
Rizzler
to her.
is the Rizzler going to be there again? That could affect these
The
lines.
Rizzler. Is the Rizzler actually a Chiefs fan, or is that's
No.
just got to be for
I
social
can't believe.
clout, right?
First off, I don't like when I learn about someone so against my will, and then you
don't
find
know
out.
about the Rizzler?
I don't know if he's 9 or like 40.
It doesn't
I really
matter.
don't know. Is he
Yeah.
like? Is he like a? Is he? Is it Vern Troyer?
He was the reincarnated Vern Troyer.
If so,
Yeah.
sometimes people
It's
use
it.
whole sentences, and I don't know any of the nouns, and it really makes me feel a little bit like, well, yeah, the Costco guys Rizzler showcase was, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna open all my windows and breathe in the air.
He's not.
When I
He's not
first-
mini me. He's supersized me.
When I first learned about the Rizzler back in like May, it took every ounce of restraint not to try to explain this to Kay, and it reached a point where I was like, I have to.
Yeah.
And I just brought him up casually in conversation. I think I still have like the screenshot of that. I'm like, just brought up the Rizzler. She's like, what is a Rizzler? I was like, he's part of the Costco guys cinematic universe. And she's like, I hate you. Like, please don't text me again.
The Costco
You don't like
guys
Rizzler pulling
cinematic
peels?
universe.
It took me literally a month and a half of holding myself back from trying to bring this up. And yeah, she's like, never. Yeah.
Matt, the amount of money I would have paid to sit in on that conversation, if that like that, the amount of money I would have given just to have literally any, and it's not a Kay Adams thing or a Matt Hamilton thing. It's just to hear anyone explain the Costco guys to someone who has no idea.
I want
is
to.
just
It
well
would have been
worth the
very
time.
funny
Yeah.
if she's texting you and she's like, "Who's the Rizzler?" and then you add someone to the group chat just for the explanation of it.
You almost have
You know,
to. You always have to.
She got me in the end. The Rizzler started following her on Instagram, and
Let's go.
Wow.
she rubbed it in my face. I've never been
Did
more.
she rub it in your
jealous
face, or did
of
she
her than
slide
that
it slowly
moment.
across the chin?
I give that a big boom.
Have I
Oh.
worked booms into the script here and there for the show? Of course I have.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Unbeknownst to her, didn't get the reference, but I got it in there anyway.
Someday the
Yeah,
Rizzler's
also-
going to lose a job of his to AI, and we're all going to have to pick sides.
Yeah. Which, real quick, before we let Matt go, I do have to point this out. I saw a comedian online point out the fact that the dad AJ is not.
Is the Rizzler related to the Costco guys?
No, it's no relation whatsoever. He just
We
hangs
still
around
have no
them
idea.
awkwardly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
but
just
they
a
Just
free
appeared
sample they
out of
got.
nowhere one day too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was in a tiny
Yeah.
cup with a toothpick on him, sitting at Costco, and they just grabbed him.
It's not called the double chunk chocolate cookie. If you go to Costco on the menu, it's called the double chocolate chunk cookie. And the whole time,
No.
AJ, the dad, has been calling it the double chunk chocolate cookie.
The cookie.
He
This
doesn't
is a
have the
scandal.
name right. It's right. It'd be like calling it Co-Cost, right? It's
I
not
feel-
like you're.
I feel like they need to change the name now, though. It's too iconic. They're the ones that are wrong.
Well, they will go, their return policy is pretty lenient there. So
Sure.
It is, right. They
Yeah.
could very easily return it.
I can't believe I thought the Costco dad guy was Kurt Angle now. Like, there's that picture of Kurt Angle being like accosted where he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was the Costco guy dad.
That's they might be. Have we seen them in the same room together?
Good point.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, now about time. He's reached the internet fame. All right, Matt Hamilton,
Yeah.
before we get you out of here, one last final question. Is there anyone that you would like to set the public challenge out to that you think you could beat on this podcast?
I think it would have to be Kay Adams. I would love to see Kay Adams go through this, and I think I can beat her score any day of the week.
Okay, hell yeah. Kay Adams has been challenged. Is she up and Adams for the challenge?
Oh,
People are asking.
Sorry, hold on. I have to buy a trombone off
that's
Craigslist real quick so I can play the sad trombone noise.
Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. Kay Adams, another fellow Mizzou Tiger, right?
that is correct. Yeah,
Okay.
Mother Tiger.
All right. man, that would be just the number of Mizzou Tigers that we are just trying to get on this podcast is just sickening to everyone else in the SEC, I'm sure. But okay, all right. So Kay Adams, you have officially been challenged by your producer. Will she answer the challenge? That only time will tell. But Matt, we had an absolute
barely
blast.
answers my text, so yeah, we'll see.
Maybe we'll just get the Rizzler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imagine I'm just on here telling the Rizzler what input is wrong.
Yeah, right. Matt, listen, man, thank you so much for doing this, dude. We've had so much fun with you. We appreciate it. Keep up the tremendous work that you guys do. Honestly, you guys do really good work. And now that I know that it's on Marquee Sports Network, I'm going to be putting you on in our studio just about every day that I can, that my co-host won't, bite my lack of sports loving co-host doesn't. As long as she doesn't bite my head off, I will put it on every single day. But Matt, thank you, man. Everyone follow him at Matt Hamilton25 and tweet at him about curling. Thank you so much, Matt. We appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, guys. I had a lot of fun. You guys are the best.
Thank you so much again to Matt. Am I recording? Did I hit record? I feel like I did. I did.
Yeah, you're
recording.
All right,
we're living. Here's my allocation of my bets for this week. I feel good about it. Put some on everything. $100 on the under on flops. I don't know why. $150 on the over on air jerks. Feel like I'm going to lose both those first two. $200 that both players land in the sweet spot between 225 and 350. Locking that in. I got 4 Taylor Swift shots. Feel like there'll be one less than last week. I'm going to 150 on the over for Jaden's touchdown length. Feel like one long one. $250 on punt yards and $150 on Mahomes.
Okay, I'm rolling out. I'm going $200 on the under for flop attempts. I think we're gonna get one. If this was 0.5, I would bet the over, but I think we're gonna get one. But I don't think we're gonna get a second one. But you and Matt brought up good points where you could see the other one, like Patrick doing it out of spite, like just to do it, just because of all the backlash that, or Josh doing it, because Josh does it too.
These are the two. Josh does it twice as much as anyone. And then Mahomes did that one out, which there wasn't even a penalty last week, but we don't give him that last week out of bounds thing was just like NBA looking shit.
Yeah.
And so I think, it's just a fun narrative that really doesn't take away from any of the other players.
And who is the judge and jury on this one?
I'm going to have an impartial jury if there are questionable ones of non-Chiefs or Bills fans. I have a Rams fan on deck who can look at these for me, and I have a Patriots fan who can look at these for me.
And they can deliberate. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool.
A Patriots fan who, keep in mind, and I'm seriously told me that Brady never got calls. So this is a person who has their right mind on.
That's the thing. It's like, it's not what we're seeing with the Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's nothing we haven't seen for the last 20 years because it literally just went straight from the last 14 AFC championships has had a Brady or a Mahomes in
I think it pretty much quarterbacks get crazy calls all the time, and we watch some of them more than others. Pretty much everyone except Cam Newton.
I was going to say there's some quarterbacks that definitely do not get calls. You should meet my friend Will Levis. It is my goodness.
Well, the calls he doesn't get are from teams wanting him to play for them anymore.
Well, that's because even the refs are too bored to watch Titans games. So,
and ultimately, I do think there's also I think there's just like there's a thing, and I think it happened honestly to me more often this year than anyone else with the Lions secondary, where they're not going to call the same penalty 100 times in a game.
No, they're not. And they very rarely do it in the same game, and certainly not from game to game.
So if you're a defensive back, you can hold every time and just take 1 15-yard penalty a game.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm also going with no on neither on. Or no, sorry, yes or no. I'm going with no on the burnt ends to wings bet. I'm going to put $250 on that. I do think one of them will land in there. I don't think both of them will.
Okay.
And then Dan Quinn, I'm going $50 on yes, just because I have to throw some money at air jerking.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to put air jerking as a bet on this podcast, I have to throw at least a little money that way.
That's what I was saying was that's what the AJ and AJ Brown stands for.
Air jerking Brown.
Mhm.
It feels like I'm back in Tijuana, just throwing money out at air jerking cows. And then my Taylor Swift shots bet, I'm going with 6. I feel like we're gonna have. You said one less than last week. I think we're gonna have one more than
As
last week.
Travis Kelce approaches all these other Jerry Rice records he hasn't caught yet, maybe we're gonna see some more.
And you know what? And I'll give kudos to the broadcast crew. Travis Kelce had himself a day last Sunday.
Yeah.
And the fact that we only got 5, like there were multiple massive Travis Kelce plays on critical downs that they very easily could have just, hey, let's see how his girlfriend's doing. They cut to like college players' parents more than they cut to Taylor Swift, at least recently.
Yeah.
So you really do have to watch that bet. And I was very annoyed because I bet 4, just like I did on last week's pod. I bet 4 within my in-laws bet, and it ended up being, they counted the replay, so it ended up being 6 in the family, and I was very mad.
Can't count the replay.
You can't count the replay.
Yeah.
But even then, I still wouldn't have won because someone guessed 5. Then I am going with $100 on no for Jaden Daniels long pass. This is hard. This was a hard one for me because Jaden Daniels always is good for like one deep throw, at very least.
Yeah,
one
you should
deep
just
throw
make
per
sure that no
game.
one on the Eagles is taunting Commanders fans before the play and then walking over to defend it.
Right. That's a good point. I'm annoyed because the only reason I'm saying no is not a knock at Jaden Daniels or the Commanders. I think the Eagles defense is that good. I think they're gonna have to scratch and claw for all the yards that they get.
See, I sort of take a path with this one where when a defense is really, really great, sometimes the only points you get are from something like this. Like the Broncos against the Bills, their only like touchdown was like 80 yards.
Yeah, that's a good take. All right, I'm not changing it though. I'm still going no on the $100 on no. Tress Way, gotta bet Tress Way, the original Maroon 5, even though he's now Maroon 10 because he gave his number up to Jaden Daniels. $200 for Tress Way. And then
if you write out Durant, the word punt is basically in there. You just extend the D down, and then there you go.
I was trying so hard to come up with a funny name for this, and and then finally I just gave up and called it the Slim
I just came up with
Punter.
a modern graphic design.
Punt, yeah. I was the Slim Reaper. I went with the Slim Punter. I was thinking of like Kevin Punt.
See, like, look at that.
Yeah, oh, that's sick.
Is it? It's more like sick as like it has a cold. Anyways, I wrote the word punt funny. So if you guys are listening.
And then I'm going $200 on Mahomes win. That caveat though, that could screw up a lot of people with that bet.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Chiefs to win and not to cover is a pretty decent way to make money in the past like 5 years.
Yeah. The Titans were like 2-14 against the, or 2-15 against the spread this year. That's pretty. Do you realize how bad? It's the worst in the I think in the modern Super Bowl era. Anyone against the spread, which is awesome. It's great. But anyway, guys, follow Kyle on Instagram and Twitter at Kyle Ayers. He's at Kyle Ayers Things on the now returned TikTok.
Yes, we finally did,
folks. We did it. TikTok is back. You can follow Korked Bats on TikTok as well. You can follow Korked Bats on all of the socials, which I encourage you to do so. At Korked Bats, that's Korked spelled with a K. There you can kind of keep tabs with this podcast, the leaderboards, who's doing what, clips from the show, and everything at Korked Bats. Give a follow. I'm Austin Huff on Instagram and Twitter. But Kyle, you got anything for the road before we get out of here?
Everybody, this is the last week until Labor Day with multiple NFL games that matter.
Awesome.
So enjoy them. Hey, that came out sadder than I thought.
For some of us that's super sad. For others of us, it's like finally getting out of the tunnels at Shawshank and
Right,
just
you're like
reaching
looking
up to
down
the
at you're
high
the
heavens.
genie in Aladdin, seeing the bands disappear
Yeah,
off of your
yeah. I'm
wrists.
like, let's go. I could use a Sunday without pain. That would be
Yeah.
so great. That would be. I've been looking forward to this offseason for a long time. And now they got the Chiefs. Hey, look, now the Titans got Chiefs assistant GM Mike
Yeah.
Borgonzi.
Yeah.
Don't let the Titans get hot, which I'm sure he won't let them.
It's good. It's nice. At least that gives you a connection and a good line with another team for I'd be optimistic if I'm the Titans, honestly. Seeing as it
Got-
look what the
uh,
Washington did. 1 year they turned it around.
Yeah, no, I do believe that the NFL it is the one league where a team every single year you can it's stated every year there's at least one team that
Hmm.
goes from last to first within a season. So the NFL is the one league you could do that. Will it be the Titans next year? Certainly not.
Is
But
there
I would have
but
been
what's the division to
happy.
do it in then?
It's a good point. The AFC South does kind of suck. The Colts, who is like the universally loved media darling of that division, has not won since 2014.
Yeah,
So
they
it
might
is
not have
like
a
this.
quarterback. Anyways.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would have hired honestly if the Titans hired the Chiefs janitor as GM. I would have
Hey, he wrote
accepted it.
that play up for Andy Reid that one time.
Yeah, right. Like it would have been like Matt Damon, Goodwill Hunting,
Yeah.
as the GM. I would have taken anyone from the Chiefs organization. I would have taken, is it KC Wolf? I would have taken him
Yeah.
as GM.
You guys are
Honestly.
bailing Chiefsaholic out of jail just to see if you can have an analytics guy or this guy's good with the salary cap.
Do you realize how hard it is to rob banks? I of course would have taken
Yeah.
Chiefsaholic.
It's harder than winning the AFC South.
All right, with that, I'm only laughing to keep from crying. With all of that, guys, good luck on your bets. Love you.